Hello and welcome to the Spiritual Strategies Warfare course. My name is Mr. Davis, and I will be taking you through an introduction of this fully loaded empowering course. There is a great war being waged in the world today. It is not a conflict between nations, tribes, or government leaders. It is not a rebellion or coup. It is an important invisible battle taking place in the spirit world. The Bible states that God's people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. You can see that in Hosea 4 verse 6. One of the main areas in which believers are being defeated due to lack of knowledge is in spiritual warfare. The early church viewed their spiritual experience in terms of warfare. Military terminology is used throughout the New Testament. Protection was seen in the armor of God. The Word of God was compared to a sword. Satan's attacks were called fiery darts. Faith was the good fight, and believers were told to war good warfare. The early church knew they were engaged in an intense spiritual struggle. The same spiritual battle continues today, but instead of fighting the enemy, believers are often building great church buildings, producing musical dramas, holding fellowship meetings, and fighting one another while this great spiritual battle wages around them. Satan has even intensified his attacks against the church that has withdrawn from the front lines of battle. As the end of time approaches, it is even more important for believers to understand spiritual warfare than in the early days of church history. The Apostle Paul warned, "This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come." 2 Timothy 3 verse 1. In order to be properly prepared for these perilous times, renewed emphasis must be placed on the strategies of spiritual warfare. The Christian life is war. The sooner we recognize and prepare for it, the sooner we will experience victory. Luke 14 verse 31 says, "What king, going to make war against another king, sitteth not down first, and consulteth whether he is able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? No king ever entered into a battle without a careful examination of his resources and development of battle strategies. In essence, that is what we are doing in this course. We are making a careful evaluation of the strategy, weapons, and power available to us to win the war against our enemy, Satan. In the military world, strategy is the science of forming and carrying out military operations. It is the method or plan which leads to the goal of victory. In this course you will learn to formulate and carry out spiritual military strategy which will bring victory in the spirit world. Each lesson is presented in military terms consisting of the following sections. The call to arms. Chapter 1 explains the invisible war and sounds the call to arms for all true believers. Induction. All armies in the natural world have induction procedures. These are special things you are required to do in order to join the forces. The same is true of God's army. Chapter 2 explains how to enlist in God's army. Basic training. After induction into an army, a soldier always receives basic training. Basic training for God's army is presented in chapters 3 through 9. The battle lines of the invisible war are defined. The forces of good and evil are discussed, including the Lord of hosts, angels, Satan, demons, the world, and the flesh. Enemy territory and strategy are identified, and a general overview of God's battle plan presented. Mobilization. Training is useless unless an army is mobilized. To mobilize means to put in a state of readiness for active military service. In the mobilization section of this course in chapters 10 through 13, you will learn about offensive and defensive warfare, how to use the weapons of your warfare, and natural parallels of spiritual warfare. Invasion. During an invasion in the natural world, an army enters the actual combat zone to conquer its foes and claim territory. Basic training is useless unless what is learned is put into action. Even a mobilized army equipped with weapons is not enough if it stands inactive on the sidelines. To be effective in warfare, you must actually enter the combat zone. In the invasion stage, consisting of chapters 14 through 19, you will enter the combat zone of the world, the flesh, and the devil. You will study the battle in the mind, with the tongue, over the spiritual walls, in high places, and over strategic territory. In each of these lessons, specific strategies of Satan are identified and counter-strategies for overcoming the enemy are presented. Next, we have spiritual warfare advanced training. After gaining some experience in battle, soldiers usually receive advanced training in specific areas of warfare. This portion of the manual is entitled Spiritual Warfare Advanced Training, the initials of which spell SWAT. In military action, a SWAT team is a specialized group of soldiers used for difficult missions. In the advanced training offered in this manual, you will learn about transference of spirits, how to assist prisoners and casualties of war, and how to deal with demonic powers. You will also learn how to lose a battle and still win the war. And finally, we have the final briefing. During final briefing in Chapter 26 you will study the final conflict which will bring this War of the Ages to a triumphant conclusion. I believe this course is a must for every believer who wants to be victorious in their day-to-day life and their Christian walk. We offer a certificate program which includes this course, Strategic Spiritual Warfare, which goes back to back with this course, Battle for the Body, and finally Ministering Spirits, Angels of God. After successful completion of all 4 courses, you will be eligible to earn a certificate in effective spiritual warfare strategies. Reach out to our training support team for more information, or you are also welcome to visit our student portal and register for your first course. It is 100% online from the comfort of your home and absolutely free to you. Thank you for listening today, and we look forward to seeing you become a student of our school. God bless you. Take care.